I've waited 100 years, and I'd wait 1,000,000 more for you. And nothing prepared me for the privilege of being yours would do. If I had only felt the warmth within your touch, if I had only seen how you smile when you blush, or how you curl your lip when you concentrate enough, I would have known what I was living for all along. I was living for.
All right, happy Monday. Welcome back to Morning Coffee with Rick Alexander. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend, and I hope you're digging the show, the content, and I've got the new Clarity Academy launching. I'm going to release details for that on Wednesday of this week, so if you guys are interested in getting a little bit of coaching done, figuring out, really it's coaching, but it's more of me just asking you the right questions for you to answer in your own life to figure out who you really are and what you really want. Most of us are going around without the answer to either of those things. And so the Clarity Academy exists to help you answer those things. And really, if there's one thing I could say about it through the 50 or so people I've put through it so far, it's that it's a bit of a catalyst for growth. And so if you are looking to push fast forward on your growth process, hit me up and I will be opening registration for the Clarity Academy on Wednesday. Today, what I'd like to do is give you a bit of a statement and then kind of extrapolate out from that statement what the implications are in our lives. And so the statement is, the fundamental opposition to love in this life is always rooted in fear. Now, if you need a pause and just think about what that means for you, you can do that. But that's actually what I'm going to explain today because, there's you can look at problems from multiple levels of analysis. And so when you look at certain problems in life, it's that there's always a problem and then there's always something seated deeper. So whatever problem occurs, it's typically a symptom of a deeper problem. And you can peel all of those problems back until you hit the fundamental problem. And then what you'll come to understand is throughout your life, you're acting out that fundamental problem in many different ways. It's kind of like anger. We get anger about tons of different things in our lives, but if you could peel that layer all the way back, you'd see that you're actually only angry about one thing. And that one thing probably was a result of some childhood trauma that you're overlooking or ignoring or you haven't figured out yet. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say we could peel the layers back and we can get deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, so the reason that that's important is because when I tell you something like everything that opposes love in this life is rooted in fear, we've got to get pretty deep to figure out what that means. But you could think about this, we'll start with a romantic context, which is if you think about the thing that would keep you from going all in with somebody that you loved, it would be some kind of insecurity or some kind of fear, right? And that's sort of the narrative. That's what we're taught. It's when you first meet somebody and you really like them and you start telling people, a lot of times what you find is that people tell you to be careful. Well, what they're telling you is to love somebody in fear, essentially. They're saying, protect yourself, which is going to cut you off from love. And again, that's rooted in fear. And so as long as you allow yourself to be in fear, you won't be able to be in love. Because love is the most unafraid thing that we have in this world. It is the highest expression of humanity in a lot of ways, and it's only found in courage. And so once again, if you think about your worldview, what happens? What is the thing that keeps people from pursuing what they love in this life? Why doesn't everybody live out their passion? Why is it that I have to have a show explaining to you that you actually have the ability to live out your passion? Well, because as soon as you start going after what you love, you run into a wall, and that wall is fear. And you're scared that it won't work out. And you've seen so many other times that it wouldn't work out. And so the thing fundamentally that keeps you from love in all these different areas of your life is fear. And in a much broader sense, I see this same thing. I saw this in the military. It's one of the things that the military has to do in a lot of ways is sort of dehumanize the enemy, because it's the only way that a human could take another human's life. You have to dehumanize them in some way. Otherwise, you get super fucked up, right? Which is what we're seeing constantly. But if you ask somebody, why that dynamic has to exist at all, and it's well, why couldn't we just understand that everybody are just humans and they're doing it in different ways? And it's well, once you start, why is it that cultures can't coexist? And you start looking at it always comes down to fear. You're afraid, right? It's you're afraid. If we're not there, then they'd be here. And I'm not having a political argument on this. Like, you can figure out whether you believe that for yourself or not. I don't really give a shit. But what I'm saying is, the thing that's keeping you from love at all areas of your life fundamentally is fear. And like I said, the thing that I believe is that love is the highest expression of humanity on this earth. So to do things that you're in love with, to be with people that you're in love, there's nothing like it, right? And you understand that. It's like the idea of being in love with somebody is the greatest feeling in the entire world. It's the only thing that could make all of the pain that happens from every love story actually worth it. And so no matter how much it hurts, we always find that we fall again. And so if you think back on your life, think about the times that you've pursued love and then what's gotten in the way of those things. Now, again, that could be the love for a career or a passion that you're into, love for somebody else. Almost always it results from some insecurity, some fear of falling short, some fear of being let down, some fear of being hurt. But the thing is, as long as you live in fear, you can't live in love. And so you will not be able to give somebody all of you as long as part of you is scared. And I guess I should qualify that a little bit further and say, as long as part of you is scared and allows that fear to run your life. Because you can acknowledge that the fear is there and then you can choose to persist anyway, right? Like, it's always a choice. Everything we do in this life fundamentally is a choice. You might not be able to frame your life in the context that makes you understand that it's a choice, or where you could see where you've actually made the choice. It feels much more like you're a victim of things. But once again, if we can peel all the layers back, if we can get deeper, we're going to end up at a choice, and we make our decisions until they make us. And then we make them for so long and so regularly that we end up being blind to the fact that we even made them in the first place. But once again, if you could think back all the times in this life where you've hoped for love and it's ended up somewhere else, you could probably root it back to fear. And if you can't, it's probably just because you haven't dug deep enough, right? You might say, well, no, I was pissed that they were acted like this. And it's like, well, why did they act like that? I bet you can figure out some fear that's buried at the root of what your problem is, if your problem is opposing love in this life. And again, I'm using love as a blanket term because I'm talking about love in romantic relationships. I'm talking about love in passion and hobbies and things that you're into. I'm talking about love for fellow humans. Like, I understand that we're using it in a lot of different ways, and the word love doesn't necessarily do all of those different things justice. While I understand that, I also understand that the thing that opposes all of those things is fear. And so if you can figure out how to acknowledge that in your life, and just as a quick tangent, that's one of the problems that we allow fear to persist, because we don't acknowledge it. We try to skirt around it. We try to avoid it. We have coping mechanisms to make up for it. You're far better just understanding that it's okay, that you are scared, that it's okay to be scared, but that can't, box you into a lesser existence. Like, that just can't be acceptable for your life. But wherever you want love and you don't have love, you got to look to see what fear might be keeping you away from it, and then acknowledge it, because then you get the chance to move on. And remember, fundamentally, we're never actually decreasing fear. Fear is always going to persist. We're always increasing courage. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes to love somebody fully. That's what it takes to go after the job that you want, the passion that you want, to live the life that you want. Going after love always takes courage. And that will only be found when you can acknowledge the fear that you need courage in the face of. All right, so hopefully that wasn't too convoluted, but I'll tell you who's not afraid, me, because I love you. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow on Morning Coffee.
She'll lie and steal and cheat and beg you from her knees, make you think she needs it this time. She'll tear a hole in you, the one you can't repair. But I still love her, I don't really care. When we were young, oh, we did enough. When it got cold, ooh, we bundled up. I can't be told, I can't be done. It's better to feel pain than nothing at all. The opposite of love's indifference. So pay attention now. I'm standing on your porch screaming out, and I won't leave until you come downstairs. So keep Yeah.